Hello and welcome to the Yarnings podcast. I'm Kristine and I'll be your host. This is episode 99. I'm calling it Sweater Series Part 3. It is Monday, November 28th, and here in Vancouver, Washington, it is... I swear I wrote it down. There it is, 52 degrees. It's kind of cloudy outside today. I can see little sun breaks here and there, but yeah, it's not too bad. It has felt like a typical Washington Thanksgiving with the amount of rain we got on Thanksgiving. We tend to be pretty rainy by this point in November, and it followed through with that. So, welcome, new and returning viewers. I am glad you are here with me today. I have all sorts of fun things behind me that I want to talk to you about, and I am excited that we are episode 99. We need a giveaway for episode 100, but I have not decided what it will be. It's going to be something awesome from my stash. So when we get to knitting community, I'll talk a little more about that. How about some life stories? So, life stories. This Thanksgiving, my husband Eric was at his family's for Thanksgiving in Southern California, and so I had about 6 days, give or take, of alone time. And I went to my family's Thanksgiving, thanks to the assistance of my two brothers and my mom, who did some driving to come and get me. I live, I think, 2.7 miles from my parents' house as the crow flies, but there's no direct routes. We are across the freeway from each other, and so there's not even a really good way for me to get there via bus, even if it wasn't pouring rain. There are options, but it's not so good. So I relied on the kindness of my siblings and my mom to come and get me and bring me home. I don't drive. So on that Thanksgiving break that I had a couple of days that I just did things for myself. I mean, not 100%, but there was a lot of crafting and TV watching. Mostly on Saturday and Sunday because I was at my family's Thursday and Friday. Wednesday was a migraine, and Tuesday was my normal out and about day, which was super rainy, and I took myself to dinner because I can. Normally it's date night, so I went out for dinner while I was out and about, but that did mean I got home just as it was getting dark outside, so in the rain. So that was a long day, but I survived. And now it's Monday, and my husband he came home and went straight to work, so I haven't seen him yet. So I will see him tonight, and I wanted to get hopefully a quick-ish episode out for you guys before I moved into the rest of the week. So why don't I tell you about some of my yarnings with adventures in knitting. Let's get that untangled. There we go. I have a finished object. I will talk a little bit more about this in the now watching category, but this is my Gilmore Girls Revival cowl. So I cast on something to knit on during the Netflix series, and this is my first real brioche. I've done it in smaller forms, I think some squares for my old Afghan, but this is the first really awesome example of it that I have done. I cast on too many stitches the first time, and so I ripped back and started again, and this was 12 stitches across. And I cast on provisionally, and then I kitchenered together. So you can see that spot right there is out of sequence because it is kitchenered rather than brioche for a couple rows, one on each end. But I think that's going to be fine. And when I kitchenered it together, I put a twist in it so it is a Mobius, so that it would lay that way. I have cowls that are just straight cowls, but I thought since this one was closer to my neck, it would be easier to have a twist in it. The yarn is Knitted Wit, her cotton candy base. I don't know what the colorway was. I think it's similar to Bad Santa, but Bad Santa has a lot more white. So I picked this up at Oregon Flock and Fiber this year, off, and knew that it was going to be something big and fast and fun. And so this was the perfect time to do it, was for the revival. And it's super soft and squishy because of the brioche and because of the yarn. It is a single, so I know it will pill, but I think it's still going to be a great cowl. Keep me nice and warm and remind me of watching. So, finished object. This, between knitting it and ripping it and knitting it again, I worked on it during 3 of the 4 episodes, at least for a little while. The 4th one I was working on something else by that point because I was done. So then the thing that I am knitting on right here, this is what I cast on to work on at Thanksgiving because my socks were at an awkward spot. I told you about that last time, and I needed to figure out what to do with them. So this is either going to be, well, when I cast it on, it was intended to be a tubey cowl. So it's just a tube. It will be kitchenered together at the end to make a tube. A tube donut squared was what my other one was called this way. I was looking at it today though, and it could also turn into some awesome wristers. And that might be more wearable for more of the season because, I don't know, they're so seasonal. I have a lot of this yarn, and so this may have been a silly idea of what to do with it. But it was awesome knitting when I was with my family. But I do have an awful lot of this yarn, and so when I made a tubey cowl before, it was 400 yards, and this is 600 yards. So, I'm not sure I need that long of a tube. One thought I had was increasing it slightly, so part of it was wider than another part of it, and that might give it some interest. But it is very holiday-ish. And I'm not sure how much of the year I would feel comfortable wearing this besides December. It was going to be a shawl, but I couldn't pick a pattern, and I needed something to knit on. What does the Knitmore's girl say? If you don't like it when you're this far, you're not going to like it when it's done. I haven't decided yet if I am at that point where I just want to rip it out and start again. But it is a lovely yarn. This is Knitted Wit also. Her singles, her fingering singles, maybe Victory singles. I don't think I had a tag on this one. I don't see one over there. Again, this was another one from Oregon Flock and Fiber. It was, yeah, there was a tag somewhere. It was in, like, the Gilmore Girls one. It was in her by the pound pile. So it was a pretty good deal for 600 yards of a Christmassy yarn. I would not make socks with the singles, or else I would make Christmas socks because I don't have any Christmas socks. How silly is that? I might just leave this out because even though I don't know what I'm doing with it, I might have it in my hands while I knit. The next thing on my list is Kaylee Walks on the Sun. This is my Sun Walker, which is part of the Big Bad Burgalong, which I think is almost over. I already finished my sweater for it, but I'd love to finish this too, but I'm put a little bit more on the lace. Not super a lot of progress, but definitely some progress. I still have a ton of brown, so I don't think I will use all of the brown, but I am almost done with chart A. There's chart B and chart C to still do. So I may just do exactly what the pattern says for how much brown, and then use my hand spun Hawley-Hoy battings to finish it off and call that good and use the brown in something else. I thought the brown was great brown coat color, so that made sense to me. This is just really fun and happy, and I'm really excited to wear it. That went with me on Tuesday when I was out and about, and will probably go with me again tomorrow while I am out. Alright, let's pick up all the little skeins here. The socks, the Botanical Baddies, are still sitting back there. They didn't get any work on them, so I'm not going to show them to you. And these needles don't have anything on them because this is the Princess Fiona sweater by Amy Miller in Blue Moon Sooks that Rock, which is closer to that color than it is when I held it up close. I have now bound off the bottom. You see it's flipping up, but I bound off the bottom, finished the dark blue. This was how much I had left of the dark blue. And then I did the neckband. So the neckband has just a little 2x2 rib around it. And then I did a button band, which will be actually sewn down. It won't be live usable buttons, but I don't have buttons yet. Once I block this, I will go ahead and sew this down, and then I'll put the buttons on it when I get them. And all I need to do left is something with the armholes. I have this much yarn left. Obviously not enough for full sleeves. This is the one that is darker, but there's about equal amounts of these two. Pretty close. I could try and do some small sleeves, some cap sleeves. We're going to talk about sleeves in a moment here because I want to talk, that'll be our sweater topic for today. I am really pleased with how the diagonal of the lace looks. I think that's going to look really great when it blocks out. Now it's a little rumply, but that's how lace goes. This band is a little rumply too, but again, I think it's going to block out. I may have picked up a few too many stitches, but I think it'll be okay once it's blocked. This was my modification on it so that I could do the lace in intarsia, was I put a opening so that I could work it flat. And I think this is going to be great. I don't know what color of buttons I'm going to look for. Possibly this dark color. So yes, I think it could be done still in November. Maybe minus the buttons. I think doing the armholes and all that is very likely. So, yay, Princess Fiona. I definitely did some good work on this over the time that I was alone. And to be down to this much yarn is a good sign that I worked hard. In fact, let's see how much yarn this actually is. All three rumply balls of it. 56 grams. So, not a super lot. But, worked hard on that. Alright. So, I do not have any spinning for you today, but I do have some multi-craftual. I'll show that in a moment. Our tree downstairs, I decided on what the color scheme was going to be. It's going to be red and green and pink and a little bit of turquoise. But I didn't have anything that was quite the right color green I wanted. So I went to the store and got some scrapbook paper. And it's still not quite as limey as I was thinking it would be, but it's still nice. And the plan was to make some snowflakes out of it. I bought some new scissors so I would be able to cut better, but I still have a lot of raggedy edges in here. And I'm really not so pleased. Even on plain white paper, I still got some pretty raggedy edges. I like to do really fancy detailed snowflakes, and I just couldn't quite get the scissors to cooperate with me. There we go. I like hearts in my snowflakes. So the other issue with this was it's scrapbook paper, so it's a little heavier. So that also contributed. This one looks like some all-seeing eye orb, like Doctor Strange or Lord of the Rings. That was kind of a silly one. I usually don't know exactly what I'm going to get when I start cutting, and I just start cutting and see how it goes. But yeah, some of them are awfully pretty, so I did spend some time with that. I also got myself some pom-pom makers when I was at the store last time I podcast, because it was the day that I went and got a haircut. So I got these. These are the small ones. And then I ordered on Amazon the extra small ones. So these are teeny tiny, itty bitty ones. So the biggest of them makes this size of pom-pom. And the next size down, nope, those are the same, just out of two different yarns. This is the next size down, maybe. And then the smaller ones, like that size. And the itsy bitsy one, let's see, itsy bitsy one, these are the two littlest. Aren't those adorable? This, by the way, is Malabrigo Archangel, which I thought was very appropriate for a Christmas tree. Some of this is my hand spun, so both of these are different varieties of hand spun, and so those are going to go on my tree this year. I also took a set of little snowflakes that are wood and put yarn on them for hanging with, and I have some little sheepies from, oh man, I can't think of where they came from. Jupiter Moon. There's mommies and daddies and babies, and I put some on my little tree already that have little yarn wrapped around them for sweaters. So these ones will go on the bigger tree as well. So I did some pretty good work on getting some things organized for my tree, some custom stuff that will fit well with what I want this year. And you can see my tray has paper scraps and all sorts of crazy stuff. So that's that. All right, knitting community. So this is episode 99. What should we do for episode 100? I think I would really like to start a thread of things that you loved about past Yarning podcast episodes, or things that you really liked that I've knit, things, knit-alongs that you loved joining in on, that kind of thing. So maybe a memory about yarnings. And then we'll do a drawing, and I will give away a skein of my yarn, or I have some bags that haven't been used. Maybe there's something I can find in my craft room to send to one of you to thank you for being along with me for the journey. We're going to talk about our NaKniSweMo topic. So the Princess Fiona sweater is my NaKniSweMo, National Knit a Sweater Month. And I have done it. This is the third year. So we've talked about some different topics over the last few weeks. And this week we're going to talk about sleeves, because that's where I'm at. Sleeves can be a challenge for me. I know there are other people that have this challenge as well. The challenge is to sleeve or not to sleeve. I have a couple opinions on this. So I like being able to layer things, and so having something I could wear in the summer with a tank top like this, or with a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it, that makes it more versatile for more seasons. Sometimes I'll stick a lighter cardigan on top of my lightweight tops, and that will be great. I like having that ability to do that, and so sometimes I will choose shorter sleeves. I would rather have a top that was longer. This one comes down really nice. Than to have sleeves on it. That's a very personal decision. That's my style. I don't really do cropped very well. Just that's my preference. So if it comes down to it and I'm knitting on down and I don't have very much yarn left, of course I'm not going to put sleeves on it. That being said, I do have things with sleeves on them. My Risen that I just finished, and I have things that are elbow length. I like the look of elbow length more than I like 3/4. Also, I don't get that arm crease in the sweater. Like this one is my Happy Home. What was it actually called? I called it my Comfy Home. It's Hannah Fettig. It has elbow-length sleeves, but they're just below the elbow, and so you can see how the inside of that rib gets kind of scooshed up, because every time my arm opens and closes, it's crunching at it. This one is out of a very nice yarn, and so but it does pill a lot, so it just got to go through a depilling process, and it's still a little bit, but I love this one. This one layers so nicely on stuff. So there's an example of an elbow length sleeve. This one isn't even that long. This one is a little longer than a short sleeve. This one wasn't too bad of a sleeve knitting process because it was short road. My Princess Fiona is supposed to also be this way, but I don't have enough yarn. I didn't save enough yarn intentionally. So there is a choice of sleeve length. When I am doing raglan, like this one, this is where I took the sleeves off after getting all the raglan increases done. So then I went back and did the bind off with just a little bit of the pink and called that good. I did a similar thing with my laneway. My laneway just has the amount after the pink striping, so just this little green. You can see there's an orange stripe and a blue stripe, and then the ribbing. And that is all that is on it after dividing off for the sleeves. That works pretty well for me. Lays pretty flat. You can do that when you're doing a yoke sweater as well. This is again right after separating off for the sleeves. There is a little bit of, I'm trying to see where I picked up the stitches. Yeah, there's about an inch that I did to shape it in there, but it's a nice length for me. So what I'm thinking about doing on the Princess Fiona is more similar to on the motorway. On the motorway is just a very small edging on this set-in sleeve. This one has a folded over hem on it, which I probably won't do on this one, just because I didn't do that with any of the other facings on it, although I love how I did this one with the black in it. But I can wear this over top of a long sleeve shirt, or I can wear it with a cardigan or a lightweight sweatshirt kind of thing on top of it, and that works really well. So, sleeves for me. I would like to go back and try another custom fit sweater because some of those have flat seams, flat sleeves. Let me say that better. And I might try doing again 2 at a time sleeves, but flat rather than in the round, which I don't always mind purling, but it is a little fiddly still. But I like 2 at a time because then I can get the shaping on them exactly right without having to pay further attention on a second sleeve. So those are some of the thoughts that I have on sleeves. I would love to know from you, how important are sleeves to you? Are they important because it's too cold in your area to have short-sleeved things very much of the year? Or are they important to you just because you like how they look? How do you like to knit them? Do you knit them flat? Do you knit them right after a raglan? What's the way that makes the most sense to you? So I'd love to hear that in the thread for this episode. And I think that is it for Knitting Community. So let's move into Sagas of Geekery and now playing. The last little bit here, I haven't had my my gaming person with me because he's up and on his trip. But before that, we played Manhattan Project Energy Empire, which is the new small Manhattan Project. Oh no, wait. We played Energy Empire. That's the new one. So we had kickstarted 2 different. I wrote this down and it didn't jog my memory enough. We backed 2 different things, and this was the newest one, and it was really great, and I'm excited to play it again. And then we went out to Guardian and played Islebound again. We played Lotus, which was a really pretty card game where you're making flowers. They're all pretty. And then Floating Market, which we had high hopes for. It was one that I'd seen other people playing. It had really cute dice that matched the different fruits in the game, but it didn't turn out. That's the doorbell, but I'm just going to ignore it. It didn't turn out to be as fun for us. Maybe it's because we were playing a two-playered. I'm not sure. But that was a nice gaming day. And then I've been working on dividers again for my legendary box because we now have almost 100 heroes and it is requiring some reorganization. And so went through and did some data collection on the types of cards that each of these heroes had, and I have not gotten to actually cutting out cards, but I'm hoping that I'll get there today. For Sagas of Geekery, now watching. I did say I would talk about, oh, I didn't do that. Talk about Gilmore Girls in Omnia Paratus. This was a laptop sticker that I got that has not yet gone onto my laptop, but I am excited that it has a perfect spot. I am Team Logan, and watching the revival, I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't want to do that. I would really like to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil. I really enjoyed it. It was a great look back at the show. Even though I didn't watch it until recently, the original series, it still felt really nice to connect with these characters again. I watched some more Designated Survivor and Conviction. I finished Flash Forward again as a throwback on the ABC app. I'm still rewatching West Wing and listening to the West Wing podcast. I go back and forth. I'll listen to one, watch one. That is hosted by Rishi somebody and Joshua Molina. And that is awfully fun. I am rewatching Once Upon a Time. I started season 2 today. We're watching The 100. And I halfway watched some crazy disaster movie. Oh, we watched Twister. I don't know if that was, I said that last week or not, but Twister. So, for Fanciful Chatter, I had lots of fun putting together comfortable and colorful outfits for my days out of the house last week. On Tuesday, I needed my Lady Eleanor to help keep me warm. That is a big, giant, awesome shawl. Thursday, I wore a LuLaRoe dress with my Risen Cardi. And then Friday, I wore leggings and a perfect tee, another LuLaRoe set, with my Rhinebeck sweater and my You're Beautiful cardi. And I felt comfortable, and I felt like my outfits were showing my cheerfulness, and I always love that. And I really felt put together. It's fun to put together an outfit with jewelry and makeup that kind of all goes, and yeah, that was nice comfort level for me to be with my family. Today I am wearing my Liesl cardi because I wanted to show off something that didn't have sleeves. This is one that I knit back in March out of Madelinetosh Chunky. Madelinetosh Chunky. 2 different colors of it. I am wearing light makeup, but I did put on one of my ColourPop lippy sticks. This is LBB. I don't know what it stands for, but it looks nice with that. For Book of Cooking, I made the traditional Beeson family corn casserole. And I tried a cranberry relish dip for crackers, and that turned out really yummy, with blueberry Wensleydale on the side for people to try. And then for myself, on Saturday, I made butternut squash and a Hawaiian bread stuffing. And that was really good. I still got a little bit of that left. Oh, and then for Gilmore Girls Day on Friday, I did fancy coffee that had sweetened condensed milk and sprinkles and whipped cream from a can. And yeah, I think that was it. Coffee, maybe some chai. I think I put some chai in there. It was really fun. It felt very appropriate for the watching. And then the happiness continues. I am grateful for all of the blessings in my life. I am grateful that I felt mostly calm during the time that I was home alone. I could have reached out to friends a little bit more because I'm oh so grateful to them. So that's something I can work on for a future home alone kind of adventure. I hope that you had some chances to think about the things that made you grateful this week, and that you are doing well going into the end of November. All right, so you can connect with me on the internet. I am Kristine with a K on Ravelry. I am KDLB, just the letters, on Instagram. You can find the Yarnings podcast group on Ravelry and the Yarnings Facebook page that has updates, and then you can read the show notes with links to everything that I talk about on yarningspodcast.com, all squooshed together. All right, thanks for sitting with me for a little while, guys. I am thinking good thoughts for each of you. So until next time, that's the story. Bye.